Coming up this week on the Georgia State Sports Update, it's an action-packed show. We're going to take a look back at the Blue-White spring football scrimmage played this past Saturday down at Georgia State Stadium. We'll talk golf with the director of men's golf, Joe Inman, talk a little softball with head coach Roger Kincaid, and we'll learn a little bit about the esports program here at Georgia State. Hi again, Panther fans, and welcome into this week's Georgia State Sports Update. We got a lot going on in this week's show, and we'll start out with Georgia State football. After 15 spring practices, head coach Sean Elliott, his staff, and the Panthers made their way down to Georgia State Stadium for the annual Blue-White spring scrimmage. A lot of folks got involved, including head basketball coach Ron Hunter. Let's take a look at some of the highlights from the stadium this past Saturday.
You gotta be fierce. Go, fierce and get it going. Go, get it going. Come on, big man. Let's go, big man. Get fired up. You ready to get fired up? Get fired up. Go, baby. Go, baby. Let me face. Let's go. Play the same for real. Got it? 30, you got it.
It was kind of weird when, we were walking in and we kind of realized, wow, we should be out there right now, and it definitely hit us, but I'm just very excited for the future of this program.
It's definitely different, but I've enjoyed it. I ain't got to worry about, leaving here sore or nothing like that today. So I get to enjoy, see my boys, go out there, perform, do their thing. So it's a pretty day. It turned out pretty good. Wasn't looking too great earlier, so it was a good day of football. So I'm having a good time out here.
I had a great quarterback, threw me a great pass, and it seemed like the ball took like 19 minutes to get to me, but I was ready for that one.
So totally unexpected.
Very much unexpected. So I'm actually going to go home on ice right now and wrap up my knee and my back, and that's a lot of activity for me.
We're talking golf here on the Georgia State Sports Update in this segment. Pleased to be welcomed by Georgia State's Director of Golf, and that's Joe Inman. And Joe, great to have you back in the show, and been a busy couple of weeks here for Georgia State Golf. Just back from the 3M Augusta Invitational. There's a lot going on in Augusta. Georgia State was a part of it, although it was, a week earlier?
A week early. We played the weekend before, and the T-Prize is they give the boys a Monday practice round ticket. So that's a tournament a lot of people want to get into right there.
Well, Georgia State ends up finishing 8th in a field of 15, and there was quite a field of teams in that. Of course, who doesn't want to go to Augusta, even when you're talking about collegiate golf?
Yes, it is the hub of golf in the spring. It is the start of the spring. It's like the whole world of golf explodes after the Masters, and it's just it's so big for the boys. They just love going out there. It opens at 7 o'clock. We were there at 7:30, parking the van, going in, and they just explode going through that gate.
So again, you end up finishing 8th in a field of 15, and you beat some ranked teams out there. UCLA, which was or is still ranked 18th in the country in Division I college golf, finished ahead of them.
Well, we did without our best player. Our best player has hurt his wrist. He tried so hard this spring and winter, and he hit a lot of balls off a mat, and his wrist is just sore. So we've played our last 3 tournaments without our highest ranked player.
Again, we're talking to Joe Inman, Director of Golf here at Georgia State, and you got the Sun Belt Conference Tournament coming up. That's going to be down in Miramar Beach, Florida, April 22 through 25. Talk a little bit about your thoughts on Georgia State men's golf heading down to Florida for the tournament this year.
Well, interesting. Sure would love to have Max. Have Alex. I still think we have a great chance. Our only chance to get in regions win conference. And the top 4 teams in medal play then play a day of match play. So the winner is the match play champion. And I still think we have the best team. Even without Alex, I think we have the best team. Now, does that mean we'll win? You don't know.
That's why you play the game.
That's why you play the game. That's why you roll them. So I think we have a good chance. We're going to have to play well. Max has got to play well. Nick has got to play well. We're putting Josh Edgar in probably as our 5th player when Alex is not there. So we are going to need contribution from our 4th and 5th players. And it would be less crucial if you had your top dog. But we still think we have a great chance.
So as you head into the Sun Belt Conference Tournament, you look around the other Sun Belt Conference golf teams. Who are you looking at? Who are the teams that you've got to beat?
Well, Georgia Southern is the highest ranked team, and they have a junior and 2 seniors that are the nucleus of their team. They struggle trying to find their 4th and 5th player. So Georgia Southern, South Alabama, Arkansas State and us are the 4 highest ranked teams. Now, doesn't mean it'll play out that way, but
right.
Those are the 4 teams going in that look like they should make match play. And we're all ranked pretty close together, so it's just going to be a crapshoot on who can play the best in the match play.
So again, they'll be down in Miramar Beach, Florida for the Sun Belt Conference Tournament, April 22 through 25. Always like having Joe in the week of or the week after Masters Week down in Augusta, Georgia. You played in a number of Masters, I think 6. Did you appear in 5 or 6 Masters?
7.
7 Masters.
Yes.
All right, well, that's on Mike Holmes. We got that number a little off right there.
Yeah.
But that's okay. You can talk to him about that. But anyway, you won the par 3 contest in 1979. What are some of your memories about playing at that tournament? I know that's over 7 years, 7 tournaments.
Yes,
but that is one of the granddaddies of them all, if not the biggest.
Well, it's turned into the most. You would have to say the U.S. Open to win your country's national championship, but the Masters is the most fun and it's the most exciting. The U.S. Open is like a UFC fight. Boom, but you're just getting hit. It's just a hard tournament. This one is more finesse, and the crowds are huge. I heard a statistic in there from our Maui gym sponsor of our tournament in Arizona. He said the Masters sells more hats on Monday than the U.S. Open sells all week. When you walk in and see what goes on in that tournament, it is just turned into it's the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And looking back on it, it just wasn't. It was big, but it wasn't like it is now. When you see Nicklaus's grandson making that hole-in-one on the 9th hole of the par 3 tournament. My son was 2 years old. He was a towhead, the cutest kid you ever saw in your life. I was standing there with the trophy, and I'm holding him, and he takes the mic, and he's trying, and everybody's laughing and thinking it's funny, and the Masters member leans in and goes, "I think that's about enough." So they've mellowed on how they deal with the young people. Now it's the drive, chip, and putt, and they're going to be a women's amateur tournament there next year. And so they've just embraced all of this when before they were pretty closed up. So it's wonderful to see how open they've become and how much they have helped golf. They have really helped golf.
Yeah. Coach, always great to have you on the show.
Thanks.
good luck down in Miramar Beach later this month as you get ready for the Sun Belt Tournament.
We're going to be there, and we'll be ready.
All right, I want to thank Director of Golf Joe Inman joining us this week on the Georgia State Sports Update. We're going to shift and talk a little baseball. It was a great weekend for head coach Greg Frady and the Panther baseball team. They are now one game above 500. They swept Arkansas State this past weekend out at the ballpark at Panthersville. Let's go out to Panthersville, take a look at some of the highlights from their 12-3 win on Friday night. Here in the Georgia State second. First pitch hit straightaway center field. It's off the base of the wall by Kilgore. He'll make the turn and head into second base standing up. And this one here is hit down the line. That's going to drive in the first run of the ball game. Ramiro Greer around first. He'll head into second standing up. Greer the runner down at second. That one is hit right back up the middle. Greer is going to come in to score. That ball ricocheted off the leg of Bradley Welsh. 1-1 delivery. Hit on the ground, could be two. Justin Jones to Kilgore at second for one. On to Jack Thompson at first. Pitch is hit into the air, left field. Looking up, it's gone over the fence and left. A solo, make that a solo home run for Justin Jones. His third home run of the season. His 32nd hit of the year, and the Panthers get that run back, and they lead Arkansas State now 3-1. 5 hits on the night, 2 doubles and a home run among it. And this one here is hit into the air out in right center. Looking up is the center fielder for Arkansas State, Drew Tipton. It's gone, home run. A solo shot, second one in a row for Georgia State. And home run number 10 on the season for Nick Gatewood. The Panthers now lead Arkansas State here in the third, 4-1. Welch turns and fires. That one here is going to be a line drive out into center field. Coach Frady going to wave Ryan Glass. Here comes the throw back in. Glass will score. Gets a hold of this one, right field, looking up, and that one is gone. Nick Gatewood, his second solo home run, has put Georgia State up 6-1 here in the fourth. Back here in the Georgia State Sports Update, Georgia State softball's won 4 of their last 6 ball games. We had Ivy Drake in here, the slugger, last week on last week's show, and this week we're pleased to be joined by head coach Roger Kincaid. And Roger, great to have you in here. You took 1 of 3 from the 18th or 19th ranked Raging Cajuns of Louisiana Lafayette, depending upon which poll you go by in Division I collegiate softball. But again, 4 wins in the last 6 ball games as you begin, midway through or coming down the stretch run here in the Sun Belt softball schedule?
Yeah, coming down the stretch run. We've got about a quarter of our season left. So, that was a big win for us. It was a 13-inning affair that, was a 4-hour game.
That's the longest game in Georgia State softball history.
Yeah, it was long, difficult. Kids showed a lot of hustle and a lot of pride in not wanting to lose that game. So I was real proud of the way they finished.
Right now, Georgia State softball overall 20 wins. They're 20-18, 5-9 in Sun Belt Conference play. And when you were here the last time, right back during the beginning of the season, we were talking about the strength of schedule. All of those non-conference tournaments that you're playing at Auburn and Alabama and Florida State. As you look back at that now, whether you won some of those games or lost some of those games, which you did, do you feel like those games are paying dividends now as you now are into Sun Belt Conference portion of your schedule?
Oh, I think so. Yeah, especially from our hitters facing pitchers and our pitchers facing hitters from a quality standpoint. I don't think we'll see anybody that we haven't seen before, from a skill level. So, I think it prepared us real well, and I think our kids have responded. And, based on that schedule, we're up to 58 in RPI today. So, that's not where we want to finish, but that's certainly a step in the right direction.
Yeah, and of course, you got a midweek game coming up as well. You got 6th-ranked Georgia. Now, I know by the time this show airs, you will have played that ball game, but yet this late in the season, non-conference, playing another ranked SEC program.
Yeah, they're having a great year. They're playing real well. They're hitting the ball well. They've recovered from a tough season, for them last year. So, great challenge for us going to Athens. It's always fun to go play in that stadium because we have a lot of people there, a lot of Georgia State people there.
Right.
So it's fun. You know, it's an old homecoming for me going back. So I get to see a lot of my people. There's still people that work there that I have contact with. So it's a good game for us to go, and the kids get excited.
A lot of folks may not know, and we don't talk about that other school over there too much up 316, but you played college football at Georgia for Vince Dooley, and you were on that 1980 NCAA championship team.
Yeah, it was a long time ago, Dave.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, we still have some people over there that I know that my wife and I are in contact with, and it's always funny if they beat us. They usually come to the bus and talk to me and visit, but if we beat them, they don't show up. So, I'd like to see them, but I hope I don't get to talk to them Wednesday night.
Right now, your offense currently ranks third in the Sun Belt Conference. It is anchored by Ivy Drake. She's hitting .410, 13 home runs, 50 RBIs. How about a slugging percentage of .863? She was with us again on the most recent show. She's something else with regards to the offensive side of your ball club.
Yeah, she should probably be sitting here instead of me.
She was last week.
She is undoubtedly the best player I've ever coached.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not even close. And she's amazing, and every time you think that she's done something that can't be duplicated, then she hits 3 home runs in a game. I mean, it's crazy, and I'm so happy for her to be having such a great senior year because everybody wants to finish strong, but she's an amazing player and an even better person. So I'm real proud of her.
And folks that follow college softball know as much as we talk about offense, you got to obviously focus in on pitching. And Kinsley Jennings has struck out 77, walking only 33 this year. She's 9-7. Emily Souls 5-2. Amanda Chance 6-8. That's your 1, 2, 3.
That is, and we've Emily's out for the rest of the year with an injury, so that's a big loss for us. We're getting by with 2, and in that 13-inning game that we had on Sunday, Mandy pitched 5, excellent, gave us 5 good innings and gave us all she had, and then KJ came in and pitched 8, believe it or not, and those innings are not just regular innings. Those are stressful innings when you get into 13-inning games. And I was real proud of the way she performed, not from just a physical standpoint, but also from a mental standpoint to work through that game.
Yeah. So as you said, as we wrap it up, you got 2 big series coming up. You got an opportunity to pick up some ground. Basically, what you want to do is just win games. I mean, I know that sounds so simplistic, but at the end of the day, as you're fighting to move up in the standings, and again, you're right there about to go into 3rd place, you just need W's.
Oh yeah, and no doubt about it. And the team knows that. We post the conference standings so they can see it. So we're not hiding from where we're at, but they know where we can be. So that's the thing. They've stayed positive. They've stayed focused, and I look forward to a strong finish.
All right, Coach. Always great to have you on the show, and best of luck here heading down the stretch run here.
Thanks, Dave. Appreciate you having me.
All right, I want to thank Georgia State softball coach Roger Kincaid joining us here in studio this week on the Georgia State Sports Update. Coming up next on the show, it is a national phenomena, and we're going to talk to Cole Gibson about esports. Basically, to those of us like Roger and I at our age, video games, but it is a national phenomena, and we're going to find out a little bit more as we talk to Cole Gibson. Coming up next here on the Georgia State Sports Update. Right now on the Georgia State Sports Update, in layman's terms, we're talking video games, but one of the biggest phenomenons involving video games across the country is called esports, and Georgia State has a team here. We're pleased to be joined right now by Cole Gibson. He's a senior here at Georgia State. You're involved with esports. You're an esports commentator. And, when I was growing up, we had Atari, so we played Pong. Well, we played basketball with 2 figures and basically stick figures and a bouncing ball. Video games is night and day beyond where it was when I got started with the old Atari system. Tell me a little bit about esports and where it is and what you're involved with.
I mean, first of all, there's nothing wrong with Pong. Pong is probably one of the greatest games ever created. But as far as the esports program right now, we're fielding 3 teams. It's going to League of Legends, Smite, and Brawlhalla. And what we do is we compete against other collegiate teams across the country. For League of Legends, it's in the Collegiate Championship Series, what they call it now. I had to think about it because the name kind of changed. And eventually, you just work your way up, and there's a championship for, I think, I want to say $400,000 at the end of the season.
So some big money involved in this.
Oh yeah, big money.
For college students.
And it's all in scholarship money. Like this year, we got top 8 in our region. We didn't actually get all the way to championship, obviously, but that's $1,000 to each student, $500 to each staff member. So,
Yeah.
I mean, that's money that kids can always use, books, housing, things like that. So, and then we had a tournament at the local level for Georgia State in-house that was pretty cool. You know, just a lot of the guys coming together, a lot of fun, celebrating the start of the esports program as a whole. And so when we had that, that was a couple weekends ago, a Saturday. Everyone was inside. We had about 30 to 50 people there.
That's the one that was at the sports arena.
Yes.
I did see a picture of that. Tell me a little bit about that event.
So basically what we had was we had an online qualifier where teams, it doesn't matter, you didn't have to be part of the varsity team, you could just be you and some friends, played against anyone else, and you worked your way up through the bracket, and then the finals actually were played in the stadium. Now we only had Brawlhalla and League of Legends played there, but it was basically for bragging rights, and we called it 2018 Georgia State Collegiate Challenge Championship. And it was just for bragging rights, but it was a lot of fun. Everyone had fun. The broadcast was great. Everyone enjoyed the stream. We had about 50 people watching the stream as well.
Yeah.
And it was just a lot of good times to celebrate, you know, the start of this amazing program that a year ago, a lot of us didn't even think was going to happen.
So a lot of times, like at home, my kids are playing downstairs in the basement. They're playing, Fortnite. They're playing NBA basketball. They're playing soccer. Some of the shoot-'em-up games. When I get out, I'm sitting there watching. I know I'm showing my age during this interview, but so I walk by and I kind of see over their shoulder what it is that they're playing. When you say watching the video stream, so this is an audience that is watching students play video games.
Exactly, yes. So the typical streamer, if anyone's heard of Ninja, he's a famous Fortnite streamer, has about 100,000 viewers average every single day, and people are going to just tune into Twitch, and it's the idea that I'm not as good at it, so either I'm going to watch someone that's better than me for entertainment because they're funny and they're good at the game, or I want to learn from them. And they're trying to start it on a student level now. There's a thing they're starting called Twitch Student, trying to get more universities involved in getting students ready for the streaming live, because it's a hard lifestyle. It's basically like a job, 12, 14 hours a day that you have to entertain people. But it's fun. Everyone enjoys it. I watch streams myself in my off time. So,
Yeah. So what's the next event coming up for you guys?
so
And you
right,
said there's how many teams at Georgia State?
right now we have 3 different esports that we play. Each team has an A and a B team. So League of Legends, Smite, and Brawlhalla.
Okay.
And what's next for us is we're going to go into evaluation period. Actually, after this, I have a meeting where we're going to talk about the event, what we could do better, what we want to do for next year. And then it just starts getting ready again. There's some local tournaments. Georgia Tech has one almost every single season that we play in the Georgia Tech LAN. There's other tournaments online the team likes to participate in, but a lot of it is just taking a break because it's a rigorous schedule practicing for the Collegiate Championship Series. So we just try and give the players a break, let them relax, do whatever they want, focus on their studies, things of that nature, and then come next semester, fall semester, just going to be right back at it again.
Well, Cole, thanks for being with us. A lot of good information that a lot of folks watching this show were probably not aware of, and best of luck.
Thanks for having me.
All right, I want to thank Cole Gibson joining us here this week in the Georgia State Sports Update. As Cole mentioned, they just recently hosted an esports tournament event at the Georgia State Sports Arena. Right now, let's go behind the scenes and learn a little bit more about esports, the competition, and the teams here at Georgia State.
We're here at the sports arena for GSU's first collegiate esports competition. As you can see, there's a lot of preparation that goes into this type of event. I'm here with one of our cameramen today, Daryl. Daryl, how do you prepare for an event like today?
Well, we started yesterday running the cables and setting the tripods up and make sure the cameras work and make sure that we can hear through the headsets and all that.
How many different working parts do we have going on today?
There's a total about 10. From the producer to the director to the camera people to the floor manager to the announcers. So it's about 10 different parts to it.
How is today's event different from other events that you've done?
This is my first time I've ever done ES Sports. So normally I do like Battle of the Bands, sporting events, but to do something like this first time.
Right now we're up in the control room where director Amy Walker is getting ready to start the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, Arena.
Now expect to watch on the bottom on the back end. Silver will go down to Sinestro. A triple kill for the, oh my God, it will be the triple of Botling. They're unstoppable. Mixed match from Sinestro or the ultimate duo. They are godlike in this game. He's 6-0.
So I'm here with Andy, who's actually on the League of Legends team for today. Andy, what does this mean to Georgia State to have the first esports event?
I think it's pretty big that we're getting students involved on our varsity level, obviously, and then now we're able to involve students on a more casual level and get more people involved.
So how did you get involved in esports?
I started out my freshman year. I helped found the league team at the university and the gaming club here as well. And then throughout the years, I've stuck with the team. And then this year, when we announced we were having an esports program, I wanted to have an administrative role. So I went into coaching, so that way I could work with the staff and the players as well to make sure that the program grows in a direction that's healthy for everyone.
For more information, visit the GSU website for future tournaments. For GSU TV, this is Taylor Jackson.
Thanks, Taylor, for giving us that behind-the-scenes look at the esports program here at Georgia State. As we move along right now, our own reporter Joey Redmond catches up with NFL hopeful and former Panther Chandon Sullivan. The two of them caught up at Georgia State's spring practice last week as the Panthers were getting ready for the annual Blue-White spring scrimmage.
So in a nutshell, what's the schedule been like for you these days?
Oh, wow. You know, I left for Texas, trained at Exos in Frisco, Texas, January 1st. You know, I left the first of the year, and I was pretty much over there for like 3 months, just training, getting ready for the combine. You know, I went to the combine, then I had to fly back to Atlanta, get ready for the pro day. So, you know, ever since around like March 5th, I've been kind of between Atlanta and my home, Gwinnett County, just kind of training, getting ready, just trying to stay in shape, just in case I had any private workouts with teams. You know, I've had the Falcons Wednesday, you know, I leave for the Rams and Oakland Raiders on Tuesday, so just staying in shape, but you know, it's pretty sweet now that I don't have school.
Saying that your training kind of undersells the process a little bit, doesn't it? I mean, a lot of people train, but you're training at the combine, you're training at the Senior Bowl, first one in Georgia State history. I mean, these are no small feats. I mean, this is some real stuff. What's that different than your regular training? How have you seen that make you grow as an athlete?
Well, you know, I had to, you know, pay attention to detail. You know, preparing for the combine, you know, it's not so much football. You're getting ready for drills, so I had to make sure all my drills looked sharp. You know, I was training for my 40, so I had to make sure my technique was good because, you know, when you run against laser, you have to be almost perfect, you know, if you want to run fast. You know, training bench press, you know, I had to get back in the weight room and lift a little different than you normally do with football when you're in season, because when you're in season, it's kind of just to maintain and prevent injuries. When you're training for the combine, it's all out go. You know, I was with some of the top prospects in the country, you know, getting ready for the draft. You know, I was with Josh Jackson, another cornerback from Iowa who was projected to go first round. I was with, you know, Deshaun Elliott, a safety from Texas. So, you know, I was going against those guys every day, and it was kind of cool seeing people, you know, as good as you, if not better in certain areas. And, you know, they pushed us. But I feel like when it comes down to it, when you line it up corner, you know, for corner, you know, stat for stat, I feel like I'm one of the best in the country. You know, I just want to make that known to everybody, scouts and, you know, fans, just whoever the case is. Don't let, you know, the small school thing be a factor, because it's not.
Busy show this week here in the Georgia State Sports Update. Want to thank all of our in-studio guests, Director of Golf Joe Inman, Head Softball Coach Roger Kincaid, and Cole Gibson from the Georgia State Esports Program. For the entire crew, I'm Dave Cohen. Thanks for watching the Georgia State Sports Update.